Hi, this is Mike from Heaven Shall Burn, and you're watching CMS TV.
Unlike my former co-host, Little Mike, Big Mike, long-haired Mike, Papa Chuck Biden, I did play some Cinderella there and featuring Tom Keifer on lead vocal. This was when Cinderella was, basically out of style with the music that was going on out there. This was way back in 1994, I believe, is when that album came out.
Sure.
They could barely fill a club at that point. And regardless of the environment that was going on in the music industry and the radio industry, and so on and so forth, Cinderella chose to go out and tour anyway. And Fred Coury did not tour with them during that tour because he was out with Stephen Pearcy with Arcade.
Okay.
So he was doing Arcade simultaneously when Cinderella released Still Climbing, and they were still out there touring around. And they had a fill-in drummer. I can't remember what his first name was. I think his last name was Brinker, if I'm not mistaken. But what I do remember about the show is I went to see them in Youngstown.
Okay.
And a local disc jockey in the Akron, Ohio area at the time that kind of helped me, mentored me into getting into radio was Erin Carmen, who does a show here in Chicago, strangely enough.
Okay.
Well, she hooked me up for this show, and I went to this place, even though there's a place of the same name in Maryland. I think it's out of Baltimore. But the name of this club was called Hammerjacks.
Okay.
In Youngstown. And I went to see Cinderella in this basement club. And I was thinking, holy shit, this is what it's amounted to?
Yeah.
This Cinderella is playing in this like basement club in Youngstown, Ohio. But the interesting thing is because they had female vocals, because they always had the girls in the background doing the vocals. They had the Leonard Skinner, whoever was the current Hawkettes at the time, backing them up.
Okay, nice.
So that's what I do remember about that show.
Nice.
Is that the Leonard Skinner backup singers were backing them up on their live shows. And unfortunately, just shortly after they finished that abysmal tour for Still Climbing, they basically said, we're done. We're calling it a day. Until, of course, they came back several years later, like 5 years later, on their unfinished business tour.
Right.
So just a little Cinderella history that I recall.
Sure. Well, it's more history than we're getting these days.
All right.
It seems like there's just nothing going on. This story popped up, and I'm just beside myself of what the fuck is taking so long. Tom Keifer is still collecting ideas for the next solo record. Okay. It's getting there.
All right.
Rise came out 6 years ago.
It's been that long already.
2019.
All right. And
the album
he had one prior to that, right?
Yeah, something like The More It Is or something like that.
Okay.
The More It Is, The More It Stays the Same.
He's released 2 albums under the Tom Keifer name.
Yeah.
But it's literally been 6 years since the last Keifer release, huh?
And the one before it came out in 2013.
Right. When Cinderella kind of called it a day. Because they were, I think the last thing they did was one of those rock cruises or something.
Okay.
And I think MTV or VH1 or one of those things, they were covering this kind of like Cinderella on the road type thing, and they were on some kind of a rock cruise, and I guess what broke up the band at that point was that Jeff LaBar kind of got out of hand,
Sure.
you know, and really got fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when Tom says, yeah, I've had enough, and
Right.
broke up the band. And obviously Jeff LaBar is no longer with us.
Right. Mm-hmm.